Hare Krishna, Namaste.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Om Shuklam Varadram Vishnum Sasivarnam Chadpujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Prashanti Yasyatma Bhutasya Guru Prasadat Aham Vimuktosmi Sharira Bandhat Saropadeshtu Purushottamasya Tasyan Gre Padma Pranatosmi Nityam Prahlada Parasara Pundarika Vyasamrisha Sukha Saunaka Bhishma Dalbhyan Rukman Gata Udava Vibhishana Palgunadin Punyan Imam Parama Bhagavatam Namam Janmadi Asya Yato Anvaya Idaracha Abhijna Swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Havaye Mukhiyanti Yahas Suraya Tejo Vari Mritam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Sargo Amrasa Dhamna Svena Nirasa Saraham Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Prochita Kaitavo Atra Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Sivadam Tapatrayo Nulanam Srimad Bhagavate Maha Muni Kritim Va Parairishwaraha Sadhyo Hridi Avarudyate Atra Kritbihi Sushu Subhi Takshanat Nihama Kalpataror Kalitam Palam Sukham excuse me. Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Palam Sukhamukad Amritam Dhruva Samyuttam Pipata Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhavata Sevaya Bhavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Manojavam Mariditulli Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimadam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanayodha Mukyam Sriramadotam Sirasanamam Manmana Bhavat Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evaishashi Yuktaivam Atmanam Mat Parayanaha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this particular sloka in the 9th chapter, the very last sloka. In this sloka, Krishna says that one should engage their mind in always thinking of him, become his devotee, offer prayers and worship him. And being completely absorbed in him, that person will surely attain Krishna. And this particular sloka appears in Bhagavad Gita a couple of times, where in the 9th chapter, when Krishna says this, is talking about the yogi who performs bhakti. The bhakta should perform as prescribed here in this particular sloka, that he should always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, and do things which is favorable for Krishna, and avoid things which is unfavorable in the process of bhakti. Anya abhilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulena krishnanu Sheelanam Bhakti Uttamam. Sheelanam Bhakti Uttamam means a bhakti is considered to be a greatest bhakti when there is no mix of any material desires. And Also, the second point is it is not very speculative. So these are the two very important things for a bhakti to be considered to be the highest bhakti, which means that when we perform bhakti, the bhakti should be pure in such a way there is no any motive behind it. I'm going to the temple for this reason, I'm doing this puja for this reason, and so forth. And it should be done for the sake of doing. Anukulene Krishnanu, meaning one has to do those things which is anukulam, pratikulam and anukulam. Pratikulam means that which is not favorable. Anukulam means that which is favorable in the process of bhakti. So a devotee or a person who performs bhakti yoga is one follows these principles. In the Mukunda Mala Stotra by Kulashekara Alvar, there's a beautiful sloka which says, Naham Vande Tava Charanayor Dvantum Adantvam Hetuhu Kumbi Pakam Kurumapi Hare Narakam Napiranthum Ramya Rama Mrudu Tanulatha Napirantum Bhave 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 Hridaya Bhavane Bhavayantum Bhavantam. He says in the Mukunda Mala Stotra that, my dear Lord, I'm not worshipping you so that I can get rid of all my problems in my life. My dear Lord, I'm not worshiping to you because I can get some enjoyment in my life. Then why you do this? Why do you come to the temple? Why do you do puja for me? You don't want your problems to be solved. You don't want any good things also from me. You're not expecting any material gains or anything from me. So are you trying to escape from Narakaloka? Is that why you're doing this one? Kumbi Pakam Kurumapi Hare. He says that no, I'm not praying because wanting to escape from Narakaloka. That's not my idea is also. Oh, maybe you want to go to heaven. Ramya, Rama, Mrututanulata, Nandane Napirantum. He says that maybe you don't want to go to hell, but you want to go to heaven so that you can enjoy with the damsels over there. Enjoy the Nanda garden very nicely and be enjoyable over there. Maybe that's why you're praying to me. Is that why you're coming to the temple, doing puja and fasting and everything? He says, that is not the intention either. So why are you coming here? Why are you doing bhakti? What's the purpose of doing bhakti? And Kulashekara Alvar, he ends this particular stotra saying, Bhave Bhave Hridaya Bhavane Bhavayantam Bhavantam. Very beautifully he ends that. My dear Lord, the only reason I pray to you, the only reason I chant your name, only reason I want to do bhakti is for one purpose. I want only that boon from you. And the Lord is asking, what is that boon that you're wanting? You don't want money. You don't want name, fame, prestige. You don't want the problems to be resolved. Whatever the problem that you're going through, adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidaivika problem, you're not worried about those things also. And you don't want to, you're not praying because you want to escape from the Narakaloka. You're not praying that you want to go to Swargaloka. So what is that boon that you want from me? Why are you doing bhakti then? The Kulashekara Alvar says, that's only one thing I need from you. I don't mind taking any number of birth again and again and again. I don't mind taking birth at all. But only thing is bhave bhave. He says bhave bhave hridaya bhavane. Hridaya bhavan. Bhavan means a house or a palace. Hridaya bhavan means in my heart, a place in my heart, right? That place, house of my heart. In that house of my heart, what I have to have is remember you. Every life after life after life, all I have to do is just remember you. I should never forget you. That's all I'm requesting. And if you see this prayer, there's a smartness involved in this prayer, in the stotra. When the Lord can be remembered all the time, then where is the question of problems in our life, right? So it's another way of, sometimes we go and ask certain specific benediction from God, right? We go, today I'm having this problem, please solve me this problem. or we are wanting something else. Rather, see this beautiful prayer from Kulashekara. He says, let me always remember you in my heart. So what it means is that when we remember Krishna all the time, where is the question of inauspicious things that's going to happen for us? Where is the question of any auspicious thing will not happen for us, right? The auspicious thing will be happening without even being asked, and all the inauspicious things will go away without even being praying for all this thing to run away. So this is the smartness of Kulashekara. Therefore, rather than we go and pray something, that is why it is important that we learn these beautiful stotras, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita slokas, and we just simply recite those things. And that will give us a much more better benefit than anything else. So bhave, hridaya bhavane, bhavayantam, bhavantam. In the same line, we saw in the last session, Vritrasura, the great devotee, but who was born as an asura, was praying the same thing, right? He left everything, he put on all these weapons and everything. He said, I'm not attached to anything. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm prepared. All I want is your shelter, my dear Lord. I should never forget you. I should always remember you. And I want the association of your devotees. That's all I'm looking for. And we learned this from the previous session of the great devotee Vritrasura. And after finishing that particular chapter, on the 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, now Parikshit Maharaj is asking a question. So Sukadeva Goswami, he asked that, I have a question. And Sukadeva Goswami says, what's your question? Well, usually there are three gunas, Sattva guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Based on a person guna, they take a birth. Therefore, asuras are mostly passionate, Rajoguna. How is that Vritrasura, being an asura, he was so devoted. He was so devoted to Narayana. How is that he was so devoted to Narayana? He's taken the shelter of Narayana so much. Ayana. Ayana means resort. Ayana means resort. Parayana. Parayana means greatest resort. That's what we saw in the sloka also, where we saw Atmanam Mat Parayanam. Manat Mat Parayana. In the ninth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we saw the sloka, right? In the starting. Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto. Then this word comes, Parayanaha. Ayana means resort. Parayana means greatest resort. Narayana means the resort for, or the shelter for Nara. Nara means human, all of us, right? Narayana means one who is a resort or an abode or a shelter for all living entities. That is Narayana, Parayana. So therefore, here also, Parikshit Maharaj was asking the same question that to Sukadeva Goswami, Narayane Bhagavate, how is that he took shelter of Narayana? Katam Asit, how is that possible for an Asura to take the shelter of Narayana? Because Devanam Shuddha Sattvanam, he says that Devas are all of Shuddha Sattva, in the mode of goodness. Rishinam Amalam, Amalanam. Amalana means they are pure in their consciousness. Rishis are pure in this consciousness. Devatas are in mode of goodness. And they themselves having difficulty to understand Narayana. They themselves having difficulty to cultivate the bhakti to Krishna. Then how was that this Vritrasura became a great devotee? How is it even possible that he became a great devotee? In this material world, every living entities finally are nothing but part and parcel of God, right? So it's not very easy for everyone to understand God because they are so much entangled in daily activities because of their previous vasanas and karmas. And this Vritrasura was born as an Asura. I cannot believe that he is being such a great devotee. Therefore, one important point that we should learn from here is for one to become a devotee or a bhakta, birth is not a criteria. Birth is not a criteria. One can be born any low caste in a lower birth, but can cultivate bhakti, and they can become much more greater than those who are already born in a high class. We learned from Vibhishana, who was born as Rakshasa. We will be seeing in the next canto about Prahlad, who was also Asura, son of an Asura, but he was a great devotee. So we'll be seeing another story of an animal, which is an elephant, who also became a great devotee, Gajendra. So we can see that birth is not a criteria for one to become a devotee. Anyone can become a devotee. Okay. So therefore, but Parikshit Maharaj therefore was asking this question: how is it possible that he surrendered himself to Narayana? What is the reason behind it? How did he get that one? How can a demon understand God? Right? Therefore, Sukadev Goswami said, well, I'll tell you what the reason behind it. So he's going to tell the past life of Vritrasura. Okay. So that is starting off the 14th chapter in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam. There was a king by name called Chitraketu, okay, of a province called Surasena. He was a king, very nice king, as usual. He was following all his dharmas, doing all the necessaries, yaga, yagya, homa, taking care of the citizens very nicely. Very capable person, and also he had million of wives, 10 million wives, 10 million wives. Okay, and he was so handsome, so skilled, very educated, very, of course, being a king, very wealthy, has all the opulences. And as all his wives were very beautiful looking, very chaste, very nice. But he was not happy. Chitraketu was not happy for whatever the reason, one reason. Even though he had everything, 10 million wives, a great kingdom, but he didn't have one son, not even one son. He didn't have a son. Therefore, he was quite sad and lamenting about his situation, because it is important that a son should be born so they can take care of the parent, especially while they are living and while they have gone. After they have gone, the son should do whatever the necessary shraddha, so that the parents does not go to the hellish situation. Therefore, for that reason, they are very keen to have a son. But since he didn't have son, but he had so many wives, he is capable of having son, and the wives are capable of producing, giving children. But for whatever the reason, they didn't have son. So he was sad. One day was a great sage by the name Angira. He happened to come, travel all over the places. The saints and sages does not stay in one place. It's not, they don't retire themselves, or like a retired person stay in one place and have nice roti and chapati and dal and call themselves a sannyasi. Not like that. They travel all over the places. The purpose is so that they can enlighten the grahasthas, the householders. That's a whole key main point for as a service to the society by the sannyasis, the sages. They keep traveling. So one such sage was Angira, who was traveling all different places. He happened to come to the province of Surasena, which been ruled by Chitraketu, and he came there. Immediately, as soon as Chitraketu saw the sage Angira, he got out of his throne, went right in front of him, fell at his feet, offered him nice seat, washed his feet, and whatever the hospitality has to be provided, he gave all those things. Now the Muni Angira started speaking. He said, "My dear king, I hope your body, mind is stable, and your kingdom has been taken care very nicely. All the citizens are happy, and you have all the wealth that is needed for you to perform as a king. And the ministers are cooperating with you, and you're cooperating with your ministers, and the ministers are obeying your law and order, and likewise you're also taking guidance and advices from your ministers." So he was going on asking a number of questions, and then the king immediately again put his head down, not much responding, but there was some sadness on his face. And Angira Muni, he spoke to the king, saying that, "I think that something is going on with you. You doesn't seem to be, though you seem to be a great king, but there's something seem to be not going well with you. Are you not happy about something? Are you having some anxiety? Are you worried about your enemy? Is there any enemies that you cannot handle? Or your citizens are not cooperating with you? What's going on? Why are you not happy? Your face looks so pale." And then Chitraketu, the king, started speaking. "My dear great Rishi, you know everything. There's nothing that you don't know. You know the past, you know the present, and you know the future. And you know exactly what's going on in my life. But because you have asked, it is my responsibility and duty that I have to let you know. My dear sir, I don't have a son. I don't have a son. What is the use of a person is been given a sandalwood paste to put on his body and give everything that pleasing for him to have enjoyment in his life, but the person is hungry. A person is hungry, and then you provide all these different gadgets and different things and so many things. He's not going to be happy about those things. He's just going to ask, just give me one roti that will make me happy, right? Likewise, I have everything under my control, but I don't have a son. What's the use of having so many different things, so many opulences, so many servants, but I don't have a son? If I don't have a son, I will go to hell. Therefore, my dear sir, could you please help me to get a son?" Angira Rishi, he smiled, and this smile has a different meaning. Every smile has a meaning, right? Sometimes we don't even have to speak. By our facial reaction, we can convey the message. Likewise, a smile also has different meaning. If you just smile, if someone is asking something, you simply do not respond. You just say, that means pretty much you don't agree with it, right? You don't want to say that you don't agree with it. Simply like that. Why you want to get into problem? So simply smile and just leave it. Let that person decide the answer by himself, by what this means, right? So here also Angira, who understanding the desperate need of Chitraketu, he agreed to perform a special yagya for him. And by doing this yagya, he got a sweet rice, offered sweet rice, a sweet, and he gave it to the king. And he told, "Give this to your wife. Krita Duty is the primary principal wife of all the 10 million wives. Krita Duty." So he left. Angira Muni left. Chitraketu became very happy, and then he took the sweet rice and gave it to Krita Duty. And Krita Duty also very happily drank everything, right? So we're going to see the consequence of, because she drank everything. Whereas we see in Ramayana, when Rishyasringa, he did the same thing. Dasaratha wisely divided these things into 4 parts and gave it to all his 3 parts and gave it to his 3 wives. Where Chitraketu did not think too much on these things. How much can, if there is only 3 wives, you could have done it. He had 10 million wives. I don't know, maybe a drop or not even a drop. We don't know. So he must have thought, time management and resource management and whatever thought he thought about it, not sure. He just gave the entire thing to his principal queen, Kritadyuti. And Kritadyuti also did not consider any aspect of, okay, let me also share with my co-wives, co-sisters, the sisters. So let me also, even she also did not think any of those things. He just completely wiped off, completely drank entire thing. And days passed and the queen got conceived and days were getting closer and a special day came for them and they got a son. But before Angira left, he told one thing to the king. What he told is, Arasha Shuka Pradatubhyam. He told that this son that you're going to get, he will give you happiness and also he'll give you misery. Arsha Sukham. He'll give Soka. He'll give happiness and Soka, means sadness also. He told just this one and then left. And the king Chitraketu did not worry about, let's see that later. First of all, I need a son now. Who's worried about what the son is going to give and all those things? So that's not his problem. Right now, I need it. Let's go for it. Right? He didn't even pay attention to any of those things. So Chitraketu becomes so very happy. The son was born. Arshashoka was born. And the king started, opening up his treasury and then start donating to all the brahmanas, all the citizens. He started being very charitable to everyone and anyone. The whole city, the kingdom was in joy because the king got a son. Just imagine, he didn't have son for so many years with so many wives. Now he got a son. Even the citizens became very, very happy. Everyone was so very happy. Days were passing. But because one who did not have son had a son after many, 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 many years, therefore, his attention, his focus, everything was towards his son. Because the son was born from his principal wife, his attention and attraction and affection also went towards his primary wife, principal wife. Everyone were happy, but some people were not happy. And they were the co-wives of the king. And they could notice that king is not giving his time to them at all. He is always with his wife, Kritadyuti, and always playing with the son. Therefore, all the wives, right, the 10 million wives minus one, they all become unhappy the way they've been taken care and treated. No importance has been given to them. They were being considered lesser than the maid servant. Therefore, being neglected, and the king also did not notice his mistake, these wives started planning something. Because it is important when you're in an organization, when you're in a family, you're in a society, we should be very conscious of others' sensitivity, others also. Especially if you're in as a role model or a leader. You have to pay attention to the details of each and everything. If a leader does not do this thing, there are high chances the leader is developing an in-house enemies. It's quite serious. Having enemies outside is obvious. We know that person doesn't like me, I don't like that person. So we have an enmity, direct enmity. right? He is my enemy, I am his enemy, right? We know this. But then the danger is having enemies within the group, having enemies within the organization. That is very dangerous because you never know what's going to happen, when the attack is going to come. And therefore, as a leader, has to be very, very careful and very sensitive to the details that's going around. Should be fully aware of what's going on. But as he was fully aware of what's going on, at the same time, he has to present in such a way he doesn't know what's going around. That's a talent for the leader. Number one, he should know what's going around in the organization, in the society, in the family. Number two, he should show himself as if he doesn't know what's going around. Okay, that is also very important on one aspect. Now, this king failed in this particular aspect. Therefore, the enemies were born within his family, and the enemies are none other than his own wives, all the wives. They could not take this any further, and therefore they decided to commit a big mistake, very big mistake. And what they decided was to poison the son, the baby, the son who was born, who's taken all the attention of the king from them. Therefore, they become very envious. And they thought the only way to put a stop to this whole thing is by removing this newly added family member, that is the son. So they decided to finish the son by poisoning him. One might ask this question. But also, we should understand that all these 10 million wives are not from any low family or uneducated family or uncultured family. They are all very cultured. They are educated, coming from the nice family, but they made this mistake. They made this mistake. So this is how Bhagavad Gita addresses one important point as well. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks the same question. How is that? How is that? Knowingly a person commits a mistake. Right? This person knows what the person is doing is going to be wrong, but somehow the other is forced to commit sinful activities. What is the cause behind it? And Krishna says, Kama yeshaha, Krodha yeshaha, Rajoguna samudbhavaha, Mahasano mahapapma, Viddhiyenamiha vairinam. Very, very mahapapa, not ordinary papa, mahapapa. One is forced to do sinful activities because of two great enemies. What are the two great enemies? One is called Kama, another one is called Krodha. Kama and Krodha. Because of the Kama, because of the Krodha, one go to the extreme of even killing their own family members. They can do that. And this is nothing new for us. We heard a lot of newses. We constantly keep hearing these newses. Within the family member, husband, wife, they also fight, they kill each other. They go to the extreme case of doing all unimaginable things, even with their own children. Why? Kama and Krodha. And what is this Kama? Kama is nothing but a desire. It is a stage where one cannot live without it. A point or a stage where one comes to a point where he cannot or she cannot live without having that. And that stage of desperate thing, I want that, and I cannot live without it. And that, when one comes to that stage, and that is called Kama. Happy and good if that person gets what he wanted. Problem solved. But for whatever reason, if the Kama is unfulfilled, Kama is not fulfilled, then what comes is the next phase. the same karma transforms into the next emotion, and that is called krodha. A transformation of karma, desire. When there's an unfulfilled desire, then that turns into krodha. Krodha means anger. Anger on who? Anger, it could be on oneself because they couldn't do it, they couldn't get it, what they wanted. Or anger could be on that person who became an interference or a block for me to attain that happiness, attain that object of my karma, object of my desire. Right? So karma and krodha are the two main enemies. And Krishna also addresses the same thing because these queens have lost their intelligence, right? We can see that. They are not new to the family. They've been in the family for many, many years, and they know who this king is, Chitraketu. They loved each other. They worked together as a one family. But how did they lose their intelligence? How did they lose their intelligence? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangastesu upajayate. Krishna also says that in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that dhyayato vishayan pumsaha, when a person starts contemplating on an object, and I like something, and I'm just going on a street, walking on the street, and on a side I see a nice mobile shop, right? And on the glass door we can see all these nice smartphones. New smartphones are there. I have a old style flip-flop phone. Okay, now I'm thinking, I only wish that I can get this latest model of the iPhone or a Samsung, whatever it may be. I wish I can have this particular phone. Now that is the object, right? I want to attain that object, but I don't have money. Therefore, I go home. But then my mind is always thinking about this particular phone, always thinking about, I want to get it, I want to get it, I want to get it. Contemplating on this, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha, means we start contemplating on this object. When we constantly keep contemplating on this object, what happens is, sangastesu upajayate. Sangastesu upajayate means we get attached to this object. We get attached to this object. When we get attached to this object, what happens? Sangat sanjayate kamaha, right? Kamaha, you see the word kamaha? What happens is, I cannot live without that phone anymore. I need that phone. First, I think about that phone. I saw the phone. After seeing that phone, I started contemplating on that phone. And the third thing is, I started developing attachment to the extreme point where I just need it. I want it, desperate. Without that, I cannot live. Now, can I go get it? Well, I can do it. I can break the glass and do something like that. But if I cannot do it, thinking about my inability to achieve what I wanted, kamat krodha abhijayate. Kamat krodha abhijayate means, then comes the fourth point. That kama changes into krodha. Krodha means anger. Now it's changed into anger. Now you can see the sequence here, right? I saw the object, I contemplated on the object, then I developed that attachment with, I really need it, but I cannot get it. Once I know I cannot get it, that turns into a krodha. I'm becoming angry. When the anger comes, moha, when the anger comes, then I get into unable to differentiate what is right and what is wrong. Sammoha smriti vibhramaha. I lose my memory, my intelligence. Once I lose my intelligence, then I commit smriti, brahmsat, buddhi naso. Buddhi naso means the intelligence is lost. Buddhi, intelligence is lost. Once that is lost, then I fall down from this position. And this is a sequence that we should understand, right? And this happens in everyone's life. Therefore, it is important to differentiate what is really needed in our life, what is not needed in our life. Many times what we think we need in our life may be totally unnecessary things, right? And how is this going to help me in my spiritual progress? How is this going to help me in my attaining bhakti towards God? If it is not, it's called pratikolam. Pratikolam means it's an unwanted thing. We just reject it. It's not going to help us. Now the son has been poisoned and the child left his body. And as usual, Kritadyuti, she called his servant, one of the maid servant, told it's morning time. So can you go bring my son? Carry my son, bring my son. And the servant went to the place where the son was sleeping, the child was sleeping, went there and saw that the child was in a deep sleep with no motion, nothing. And the maid servant was thinking maybe he's having a deep sleep. But she was quite surprised. There's no motion, even a little bit. Then she went closer and tried to touch the baby, and she could feel it was cold. The body was cold. And there was no motion, no action, no breath, nothing. And this maid servant started screaming out, screamed. And then everyone was shocked. And then the queen was also afraid. So she came on the spot. When she saw what has happened, she just fell unconscious. She fell unconscious. She again got up. The maid servant brought her back to consciousness. She again got up and started hitting her chest, hitting her forehead, and started crying loudly and out of control, completely lamenting. While she was crying, and whole the people around, everyone, all the servants were also crying. The king Chitraketu heard this, disturbance that was going on. He came on the spot, and when he came on the spot, he could see what has happened. He understood. He couldn't speak a word. He just fell unconscious, like a tree which has been cut off. How it falls, he just fell off on the ground. He got up, lamented. He and his wife was crying so much. And also the other wives, co-wives, they were also crying because they have to cry, right? Because otherwise they will get caught. So they were also pretending as if they really, sad about this thing. They were also heavily crying. But the king could not control his emotion. And the queen, as a mother, always have more affection and love than anyone else. So she started cursing God. These sessions that we are seeing is quite very important for us to understand, because always we come to this point. It doesn't matter how much we know the subject matter, how much we have been practicing certain things. There could be a situation where our faith will be tested. Our faith will be tested. Now this queen was cursing God. Why? Because bad thing happened. Bad thing happened. Therefore, she was cursing. So is it not true that whenever bad thing happens, we blame God, and whenever good things happens, we least bother to thank God, right? Whenever good things happen, we think it's all happening because of my own effort, because of my skills, because of my dedication, because of my hard work. I got this happen, made this happen. But when bad thing happens, it's not because of me, it's because of God, right? We take the good credit and we give all the bad things to God. Therefore, likewise, Kritadyuti was also blaming God. She was telling to the extreme that that she said that I understand that not that a child should always, because it's child, the child should always die after the father. Because father is younger, father is older, child is younger. It is not the law of nature. That doesn't mean that father should first die and then the son should die next. That's not the way it is. We know that very well. Okay. But at the same time, you made us to do all this puja. Whatever we have been doing, we did this puja to get the son. We got the son, but then we lost the son. Then what is the use of we doing the puja? Right? What's the use of doing puja? The puja means it has to give the result. It should not take away the result. Therefore, this death cannot be accepted. Well, if the puja is what have to give the result, then why God? Right? You might ask the question, why God? This is all spoken by this by the Kritadyuti. She's speaking all this thing. I understand that puja, just by doing puja, it's not that one is going to get a result. The one who is happy and pleased by the puja is who have to give the result of the action. Okay? Therefore, if God is true and He is the one who controls everything, then why is He giving hard time like this? Even after we did all the pujas. And the second point she is telling is that the affection and bondage between parents and children, husband and wife, this is all created by God. Right? This is getting more interesting for our discussion here. God created us. He not only created us, He also created His emotions, bondage, love, affection among us. And if He is the one who created all this thing, then what is wrong we getting attached to our children, our family members? So therefore, the conclusion that she says is, God seemed to be inexperienced, unintelligent. That's how she concludes our case. She says, God is inexperienced person. He doesn't have any experience how to create all these things, how to set up the laws and rules. Moreover, he doesn't seem to be an intelligent person. If he was intelligent, he shouldn't have done all these things. We are doing puja and we are not getting the result properly. We are not being happy. And if He is a God, He should have not given us all these emotions. And if He is a supreme Lord, then He should take care of everyone happily. Why people are suffering? Why some people are happy? And why is He giving something and taking it away? He shouldn't be doing this one. Why people have to die? They shouldn't be dying. Does any parents like their children to be dead? No. If God is the Supreme Father, why there should be death? See how many beautiful questions and arguments are coming up. And none of these questions are new to us, because these sort of questions runs all the time, or sometimes, or maybe in future it will come. Right? So the wife was concluding herself, saying that the God is unintelligent, inexperienced, and so forth. Right? So what do you all think? We can open up for questions at this point, and then we can continue discussions. Do you all feel these are valid questions? And do you have any thoughts from what we learned so far? What is the role of God? If God is nimitta matram means He's just an instrument. He doesn't have any control of what's going around. Then why we have to pray to God? If everything is happening as per our karma, then God doesn't have control of our karma. Then why we have to pray to God? If God cannot change the situations in our life, then why we have to go to temple and pray to God? If God cannot keep us happy all the time, why we have to pray to God? One day, if everything going to be finished and I'm going to die one day, then why even I have to pray to God? Everything is going to happen anyway. Yes, there was a question. Did someone ask a question?
Yes. So I had the question that what the queen asked. That I had what the God will answer the questions.
So God will answer the questions, yes, but He's going to answer the questions through Angira Muni. You remember the Angira Rishi who came and did the puja to get the son?
Yes, that means God will answer the questions for Angira Muni.
God will answer through Angira Muni. So Angira Muni will answer these questions later.
Oh, okay. Because I had these questions also.
Okay, so you can wait where Angira Muni will come back again and he is going to answer all these questions.
Okay.
Okay, so be tuned for the answers. Okay, thank you. Anyone
Okay,
else?
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? What do you all think? Do you feel these are valid questions? Okay. Okay, looks like there's a question on the chat room. God gives us the best gift of a human life, but our karma is the reason for the good and bad and sad things of our life. However, God is the maker of us, and we should always be thankful to Him and show our faith in Him, no matter what happens. Thank you, Krishnaji. Thank you. Okay, there's no any questions, no any discussion. We can continue. So while the queen was lamenting and while the king was lamenting, they don't know what to do. It's like they lost everything in their life because this is a son they've been waiting for all these years, and they got a son. Now the son is gone. They don't know what to do. They lost interest in their life. At that point of time, Angira is the one who came before and did the puja to get a son for Chitraketu. He returned back. But this time, he came with additional member, that is Narad Muni. Narada Rishi also joined Angira. He also came over there. And Chitraketu was lamenting. While he was lamenting, he could see Angira Muni was there, Narada Muni was there, but he couldn't even recognize Angira. He was in such a painful situation, he couldn't recognize Angira. Remember, the first time when Angira came, he got up and went and fell at his feet and did pujas and etc. Now he was so much in a depressed mood, so he don't know who these people are, right? He couldn't recognize anything. So at the point of time, Angira came and he started speaking. A beautiful sessions are there in this particular chapter. This is chapter number 15 that you all can read as your time permits. So Angira started speaking. He started speaking that what is the relationship with you to this dead body? Why are you lamenting for this dead body? You may say that you're his father and he's your son, but when did you get this relationship? When did you become father? When did he become your son? What was he before? What was your position before? And what's the position of you both in future? The relationship does not exist. Before he was born, he was not your son. After he has left, you are no more his father. So what is the point of you just worrying about the current situation? This is just doesn't make sense. we all come together as a particles. There are a lot of particles, right? Small, small particles. Because of the blow of wind, all the particles comes to one corner, one place. Again, when there's another blow of wind comes, this particle gets separated. And this particle may go into another group of particles. And this particle may go into another group of particles. Like that, we all come into one family as husband, wife, children, parents, father-in-law, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and you can just name it. All those particles all come together in this one lifetime. When there's a big blow of air comes, this particle gets separated, and I have a new father, new mother, new wife, new daughter, new son, etc., etc. So this is how the life works. We keep changing constantly. And the result is not the same. It's very fertile. If the land, say for example, if you seed if you sow a seed, and if the land is not fertile land, you will not get anything out of it. How much ever we try to cultivate some harvest something in that land, if the land is not fertile, you'll not get it. Likewise, there's no point of beating yourself if you're not going to get something. Go on, move on with your life. Don't try to fight for something which is not destined for you. Just move on. The reason that Angira is saying this because as per whatever the thing for Chitraketu, he was not going to have a son. But then he begged and did all sort of things and finally got a son. He could have been happier without a son. Therefore, the Rishi also told, the son is going to give you happiness and also is going to give you sadness, misery in your life. Your advisors, your wives, your minister, all your well-wishers, everyone only come together for a temporary period of time. After that, everyone is gone. Everyone is gone. Therefore, understand where you have to focus, what you have to do in your life. Do not lament for such things. Though Angirya Muni was speaking all this thing, and Chitraketu was very attentively hearing whatever Angirya Muni was saying. But he was saying, this is my son. This is my son, I lost him. Well, Angirya said, but as long as you have this identity, this is mine, you will get into more problems. And as long as you think you are the cause of the son's birth, you will get into the problem. And as long as you think you want to enjoy by having the son, you will get into the problem. Therefore, don't think you are the doer. Only the foolish people think they are the doer. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudhatma. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, kartaham iti manyate. Kartaham iti manyate means karta. Only the foolish people, they think I am the doer. But in reality, none of us are doers. None of us are doers. The Lord, the Supreme Lord, is the cause of all causes. He is the cause of all causes. So everything is rotating, revolving, happening because of him. Accept the fact. Okay? So Angira Muni said all these wonderful, beautiful advices, and Chitraketu was keen to hear more advices from Angira. And yeah, who is this person next to you? Who is this person next to you, standing next to you? And Angira introduced that this is Naradji, a son who was born out of mind of Brahmaji. He is also here, is come here to help you. So Chitraketu little became sober from his lamentation, and he asked further advices from Angira Muni. And Angira Muni continued his advices to Chitraketu, and Narada Muni also started advising him. At that point of time, an interesting thing happened. Angira spoke, and Narada Muni also spoke. Now, our Narada Muni spoke to the dead body. The child was lying down, the dead body, and the Narada Muni spoke to the son, said, "My dear boy, look how much your parents are crying and lamenting. Why did you leave them and go? Why don't you come back?" An interesting thing happened. As Narada Muni said, "Why don't you come back and make your parents happy?" The child got back to life. He came back into life. The Atma entered the body again. Okay. So then interesting thing of how the movies usually end, Subham, like that. We'll stop here. The child is back to life. But then we will see what's a continuation. This child is going to speak something. And that's a beautiful thing that we will hear in our next session. What the child is going to speak and what is going to happen to Chitraketu after that. How this is all connected to Vritrasura, the demon who got killed by Indra. How they are all connected. So we'll continue that in our next Saturday session. I'll stop here and open up for any discussions or questions. Please unmute yourself and you can ask, open up discussion. Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
I have a question.
yes.
So the wives, so many wives decided to kill their son, right?
Right.
So why did they decide like that? It's not good, but why did they decide like that?
Okay, you know the answer, because they all felt the king is not playing with them, talking to them. He's always with his son, and he's always with that wife who gave birth to that son. Therefore, the other wives are thinking he's not playing with me, talking to me, and not taking me out. They felt, they're not getting his time. They were unhappy with it, and therefore they decided to kill the son. So the king can come back and be with them.
But what did they put the poison into a milk?
Sorry, say that again.
What do they put a poison into a milk and give it to the son?
Yes. Bhagavatam does not say whether they directly put into the mouth or through milk or some orange juice or what, but somehow they gave the poison and put into the mouth. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
I have a question about...
Can you speak a little louder?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So there is story like with this whole event. It seems like that almost every living entity in the universe it's like being played by the mode of material nature through different emotions, right? Everybody, though they are actually constitutionally not doer, but they feel like they're doer, so they suffer the actions and reactions of all these things which happens. So it's like we are toys and we are being played with with the mode of material nature, with the God. That's what it seems like. Um, I mean, we are put in a position to suffer. We are positioned to enjoy. We are positioned to, or we are put, or we accepted it. It's like a bit confusing whether we accept it or we are put into it.
There is a statement in Vedanta Sutra, Karta Sahasra Tattvat. What it says is, what it means is that the doer, the actual doer, is the living entity. Okay, so even though we continuously hear that we are not the doer, we are not the doer, the fact is that in reality we are the doer. Okay, and because God has given us that freedom, we do certain activities. What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita and other places, consider yourself as not doer, meaning that you're not the only doer. There are other factors are involved. Therefore, in that way, don't think you're the only doer. There's Jivatma, there are the senses, there's Paramatma, there's a body, there's a prana. All those different factors are there. But what I do is, I think I'm the only one doing it. So that's what Krishna says when he says, don't think you are the doer. Number one. Number two is, Krishna is not making, God is not making making us like a toy where, he makes, let this people suffer. He just shuffles something and picks something and okay, this family should suffer now. Take another out of the box, say, oh, this family can enjoy now. It's not doing like that. God takes three positions. Okay. The very first position is called Udhasina. The second position is called Anumantha. And the third position is called Dyutaka. These are three important points that we should know. God plays three roles. Udhasina means, I want to do some action, something I want to do. When I want to do some action, something, God was situated in our heart as Paramatma, let me grant that particular action. Meaning, that's the second stage actually speaking. Udasina means he just be neutral. He does not react to the situation. He does not stop me. He does not do anything. Udasina. He just be there. He just watches. That's all. Udasina. When in the second stage, when I want to do an action, when I thought that I want to steal that cell phone, right? At that point, Paramatma within be Udasina. He doesn't take an action at that point. When I go to the shop, take a stone and try to break the glass, right? And that point of time, God takes a second role. That is Anumantha. Anumantha means go for it. Okay? Go for it. Hold on to your questions. This is all in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita in detail. He go for it. The reason he grants is because if God is not going to grant our action, then what we might think that there's no need of God. We can do anything and everything, right? Therefore, any action that we do, whether it's a good action or whether it's a bad action, it has to be granted by God. At this stage, please understand this. Then we can argue and question later. The reason that both good thing and bad thing has to be granted by God, because if not, one might do anything and everything without someone's sanction. Therefore, God takes a second role as Anumanta. Now comes the third important part, right? Now, I saw the cell phone, contemplated it, and God is watching inside, but being Udasina. Now I decided that what's a way to get that phone out of the door, out of the glass door? Maybe I should start breaking it. I should get it. Now he says, I should get it. Okay, he says, go for it, get it. Now, not only that, the third position he takes is Dyutaka. Dyutaka is quite interesting. Dyutaka is not only he gives permission, now he gets all sort of ideas how to break the glass. Whether to use the stone or whether to make some use some cutter or something which doesn't make a sound. Stone is going to break and make noise and people are going to come, so I should use a cutter. All these ideas are coming from, is granted, and ideas are coming from Dyutaka, where God takes a third position as Dyutaka. Just understand this for now. Therefore, God is not responsible in one sense or many sense. He is only responsible as a main cause. But then, the details of things that's happening underneath, I am the cause of it. Everything starts from our own desire. God has not taken away our desire, Icha. So based on the Icha, he becomes Udasina, Anumanta, Dyutaka. And when I execute all this thing, then I get something called karma because of my action. And where the karma is being stored, karmas are all stored in the heart of the Lord. He remembers that. He remembers that. And then he pays back to that person. If God is not there, where is karma is going to be stored? It cannot be stored in our computer. It has to be stored somewhere. So it's all with God, Krishna. Therefore, God is the main cause, and we are all the sub-cause of what we are going through in our life. And this is detailed topic. I just touched a little bit to answer your question. It is not God. It's a combination of God and us, of whatever is happening in the world. But we should also understand that if he is not being the main cause, then we can never ever finish our karma. We will not have a place to exercise our karma and finish the karma. We cannot do our karma yoga, we cannot do our jnana yoga, we cannot do our bhakti yoga. If we are not doing any of these things, our karma is not going to be finished. If karma is not going to be finished, then we cannot go back to God. Therefore, he created everything so that we can cultivate bhakti and practice bhakti and finish everything and go back to him. It's also of his causeless mercy is arranging all this thing.
Thank you, bro.
We'll be talking more on this topic in next session also. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so there's another question here. Greg, thank you. Okay, that's fine. My question, why was it necessary for Narada Muni to join Angira? Why was Angira not powerful enough to bring the sun back to life without the assistance of Narada Muni? Well, Angira could have done by himself. Right? Angira could have done by himself. But especially when you have more people and more people are saying the same thing, it emphasizes the subject matter. Right? If you only hear from me all the time about this thing, you might not have full faith in me. When you go and hear from someone else and some other person is also saying the same thing, you're not the body, you are the spirit soul, bhakti is what need to be cultivated, then you'll remember, wait, that guy also said the same thing. And this guy is also saying the same thing. Maybe there is some truth in this one. Then our faith increases, right? Therefore, we should hear from many, not only one person. So therefore, Narada Muni and Angira came together to enlighten Chitraketu. That's the answer. Okay, the next question or next comment maybe is from Krishnaji. It is easy to say, move on with your life, but it is not easy to do that as parent. No arguments. There's no any second thought to this one. And it is true. And therefore, these sort of stories are being given to us. Okay? These sort of stories are given for us. We have lost our children, and this king has also lost his son. So we both are on the same jati, same caste. He doesn't have a son. I don't have my child. How did he react to the situation? How am I reacting to the situation? And that is the whole purpose of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is trying to enlighten us, come out of that standard way of seeing things. If you are not going to learn these things and try to apply in our life, then we'll be again revolving into this material existence of samsara, repeated birth and death, keep on worrying about these things. Therefore, Narada Muni is needed in our life. Angira Rishi is needed in our life to come and teach us, get out of it. I know it is hard, but is there anything that you can do about the situation? Keep on lamenting and thinking about it. Move on. Your son has already moved on to his next project. Now he is son of someone else, having nice time. Whereas you're thinking about the same son now, where he's enjoying his life and you're still suffering about the son. What's the point of suffering in this way? Rather, utilize your time in cultivating bhakti to God, because your family members should not lament for you. You should be not taking another birth. You should go back to Krishna. Therefore, yes, it is a difficult situation for a parent when they loses their children. Therefore, this exact story has been given to us. Apply that teachings into our life, incorporate into our life. That means you have to constantly hear, constantly read, and see how I can apply this in my life. Hope that helps, Krishna ji. Okay. Next question is, Hari Krishna. What should be our consciousness when we are in same situation as that of those other wives? How can we avoid making such mistakes? Okay. So, by constantly being in Sattva Guna, okay, by constantly practicing Sattva Guna, we can avoid these things. And even now the three gunas are there, right? Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna. For us, our decision making situation will be based on which guna we fall into. If we fall into Rajo Guna, then the decision is going to be something like this. If you fall into Tamo Guna, it doesn't make any sense. Your decision is not going to help you, not going to help others. It may even harm yourself. But if you're in Sattva Guna, then the decision that we make will help us and will also help others. What we need to do is not to wait for that situation to happen. Rather, we have to start working on increasing the Sattva Guna and decrease the Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. Okay, we have to decrease the Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna and increase the Sattva Guna. When we increase the Sattva Guna by proper practices of devotional service, by being in the proper association of the devotees, then the chances of making mistakes, wrong decisions will be close to zero, none. So therefore, it's a constant practice that we have to continue cultivating the Sattva Guna in mode of goodness. Does that help? Hari Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
I have a question. Why didn't the Narada Muni and the other sage expose the 10 million wives for killing the baby?
Can you ask who's speaking?
Vyom.
Vyom. Go ahead, Vyom. What's your question?
Why didn't Narada Muni and the other sage expose the 10 million wives?
Didn't expose the 10 million wives?
Yeah.
What's the use of exposing?
For killing the baby.
Yeah. So that is a part that we are going to see that's coming up in the next session. But in short, what are these are great sages. What is the use of exposing those people? Are the child going to come back to life? No. And according to the sages, these people are just an instrument. They are not the real cause for the death of this baby. Okay? For example, Vyom, if one of your friend gives you hard time, right? What do you do with that?
I tell him.
How do you deal the situation?
I tell him not to do it anymore.
Okay. That's one way you can do, is that you can tell your friend, that person, not to do that. Okay. Another way of taking this one, if we, even in spite of you telling him, if he continues to do it, then you can do another thing. Like a wise person, you can always think, this person is just an instrument who's giving me this so that I can finish my karma. And this is particular topic, again, because a big topic, I just held it to discuss in our next class. But Angira Muni and Narada Muni will speak the same thing. Your question is being answered, will be answered.
Okay.
There's no point in exposing these people because they are not the real cause of this problem. So who's the real cause of this problem?
The 10 million wives?
No. So I want you to think about it and see if you can find an answer to me in next class. The
Okay.
10 million wives are not the actual cause for the death of this son. Okay?
Okay.
So who else can be the cause of this death of this son? Think about it. Not only you, everyone in this call, please take this as an assignment. Think about it. Who is the cause of death of this son? So we can continue from that point in our next class.